Alrighty, so today we are on Gon's account, and we're going to be doing a new, updated sort of account showcase because his account is pretty insane. I think if we go to, yeah, there's Guild Wars going on. Here, I'll check into the guild for him. Very cool. I think if we go to his combat class rating, and then we go to account class rating, maybe, and then go to all, he is rank number 4 with his account CC. You can see he's right here. The guy in third place is in the same guild as he is, and then there's a Kaiju member, Liquid Metal. He's a very high level player, and then I don't even know who this is anymore. I think this used to be Karmic Lotus, but I think he might have sold his account or something like that. But either way, rank number 4 on global, absolutely insane. 17.3 million box CC, and it might even be a little bit higher than that. No, it's pretty much the same. Just off of opening the box, you can see that he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 characters super or true awakened already, which is pretty insane. I have yet to get one, and I've done several runs. I would say maybe 5, 6 runs at this point, but I'm probably still going to need to do probably 2 to 3 more runs before I can even get one character. So that's pretty insane. He's obviously been doing a lot of farming. I did put out a post on YouTube and on my Discord, so we're going to be going through some of the suggestions that people wanted to see from the account itself. I'll be going over the entirety of his inventory, because a lot of the things that people wanted to see were different sorts of materials that he sort of racked up and everything. But some of the suggestions were stuff that I definitely would not have thought of. So if we go to his titles, I'm going to probably have to cut this out because it's going to show his account code. Okay, so if we're in his titles, one of the coolest things that he has, in my personal opinion, is the Umbra title. This is one of the only SSR titles in the game. I think there might be one more SSR title in the game, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, but it's Constellation of Pride needs to be done for that, and nobody has that done yet. So he has the only SSR title that's even able to be gotten at the moment, which means you have to get rank 1 on a final boss. You have to get rank 2 on a final boss, because I think it's the gold crown, or is this something different? Acquire 1 final boss platinum crown, so that's rank 1. Gold crown, which is rank 2. Silver crown, which is rank 3, and then a bronze crown, which I think is just top 100 in final boss, which is pretty crazy. And on top of that, you have to have 10 crowns total, so you have to place within the top 100 in a final boss season 10 different times to get this. He has had this for quite a while. There are several different final bosses that they've done, and they've rerun them several times over. I, for example, have 0 crowns. I don't push that hard when it comes to final boss stuff because it's a lot of RNG on your run in general, and sometimes it's incredibly specific on the characters that you need, but it is really, really cool to have a purple title, because then you know that they've got a pretty good account, or at least have spent a lot of time messing around with final boss stuff, at the very least. A lot of other stuff on here, of course, a lot of limited titles from the collabs and everything. I think we can go down to the ones that he doesn't have. So he has done actually a decent bit of this. I think you have to be rank 1 in Ungeared. So yeah, Fight Festival normal. That's the only thing he hasn't done to get Fight Festival Victor, which is pretty crazy to think about. He has not been rank 1 in, I think this is top 100. Which obviously that could be pretty sweaty as well. I already don't like top 100, but never backing down is the important thing, is that you tried. I think this is, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is participating in top 100 and not placing. So the funny thing is that he's always, he does top 100 quite often. And he always places, I think, is what that means. I could be wrong because it's not super specific on what this actually is, but it's kind of funny. Actually, kind of surprising that he doesn't have. I went through not the other day, a couple of months ago, and made sure that I got any of these food increase sort of titles out of the way. So it's kind of funny that he doesn't have some of these, which, not a lot of people are using regeneration food, and lifesteal food is basically only for PvE content in general anyway, so I could see the point in not having, worried about those. Battlefield Conqueror, I can't remember which one this is, finished first place in Fight Festival Elite, so he hasn't done that either, but, I mean, when it comes down to it, when you play in Fight Festival Elite, you are going to end up pushing into top 100, and you might as well just play top 100 instead, unless you're just going for this title. So not really anything super crazy there. His Constellation, of course, is not quite to Pride yet, but we'll show that in a minute. He does have a lot of progress on it. So let me back out of this without showing his friend or like his account code or anything like that really quickly. Okay, so let's look at the box really quickly. He does have every single character in the game, level 100, SA6, some of them True Awakened, of course. Most of every single one of his characters is 6/6. If I'm not mistaken, Arthur is time-gated. He is not a character that they have put on a banner yet, so they've only released a couple of free copies for him. So he is kind of an exception in the sense that you can't even have this character 6/6 yet. I think Blue Griamore is also a character that he doesn't have, or he's also time-gated. Will is the only character that he has told me specifically he doesn't have 6/6, and I really doubt they're going to ever end up bringing the Stranger Things collab back, which is unfortunate because he doesn't have him 6/6. That's one of the only characters he doesn't have completely maxed out. You can see that he has Waylo completely maxed out. When we look through his inventory, he has extra copies of all of the top 100 characters just lying around in the box, which is... it hurts my heart a little bit because I would love to have just one copy of each of them. But you can see, yeah, there's Griamore. They've given out 5 copies of him so far. So we're missing 1 copy of him. But, like I said, time-gated, so it doesn't matter. That's it. Griamore, the Green Arthur, and Will from Stranger Things are the only 3 characters that he has that are not 6/6, which is wild to think about. His Constellation Progress is 76.19% of the way through. You can see how full it is right here. If we go to his Constellation of Chaos, he is looking pretty good. He actually got some really nice rolls. These are completely RNG, by the way. I guess because he is a whale, he can get these a little bit more often, but I mean, you can grab those too. It never feels like it's worth it to me. I would rather, use the Super Awakening Coin Dungeon or the Anvil Dungeon instead of using this one. But you can also drop these from the Demon King fight now, and you can exchange them in the King Exchange for LR Seals, which there's more useful things to use LR Seals for now, so that's basically a worthless sort of trade. But 60% is kind of where I sit on most of my rolls, so it's interesting to see that he is roughly the same. He didn't have that 70% roll. Yeah, this all looks pretty standard to me. But obviously that's not something that you can, just be a whale and sort of get higher. It all comes down to luck at the end of the day. So if we go to his inventory is absolutely insane. When I've hopped on here a couple of times to do PvP showcases, I have looked through some of it. I typically sort all of my stuff by category, so I'm going to do it because that's what I'm really familiar with. You can already see some of the stuff in here. Sitting on a ton of these already. He's low on unknowns, but he has enough to do 1 goddess at the moment. 1, 2, 3, 4 fairies could be True Awakened at the moment. He has enough to do 1 human, 3 giants, and then he's already done a couple of the demons, so he doesn't have enough for that. Currently sitting on 603 Super Awakening coins at the moment. I guess if he was worried about box space at all, which he's kind of close, even with him being at the cap at the moment, he could consider consolidating these down into True Awakening coins, but I don't think he really cares. It's kind of interesting to see just this amount of them just in general on the account. Not really that many play cards, but to be honest with you, it's another one of those mechanics that's not very pay to win. You kind of just need to pull cards and then use them to upgrade artifact card sets in general. He does have his Collab Holy Relic materials lying around. Mine are still in the box, but I guess because he opened his, unfortunately it's taking up 2 extra inventory spaces, but understandable. He's sitting on 461 Dark Crystals, which honestly isn't that insane, at least compared to my own, because I'm at like over 200 of them because they just don't release relics often enough. But the fact that he's sitting on also 257 of the deer, 414 of the no, this is the deer, 257 of the dogs, 414 of the deer, and then 259 of the bird. He's definitely done quite a bit more farming of these than I maybe have, but You know, they're the only places that you can really get these cubes, so completely understandable as well. Sitting on 180 corruptions, 114 twilight sources, 171 river sources. Surprisingly a little low on the bird ones considering how many of these he has, but obviously if you just get really lucky you can pull a lot of extra of those, or maybe he just, I don't know, used, or maybe he had a ton more of those and then just ended up making relics out of them or whatever. But sitting on a good amount of the cosmetic enhancement materials, which obviously cosmetics are a big thing now. With this newest update that they've done, you get 1 GP per UR cosmetic that is completely maxed out. So you know, spending these on extra costumes for characters just in the box and stuff like that can get you more GP, which ends up getting you further into your Constellation system. Sitting on 2,200 OG Flames, 890 Belmoth cores, which is kind of crazy considering, you know, the only time he's going to be able to use these is when brand new characters drop. And they're really not dropping more than like 4 characters at a time, and that's only during a collaboration. Most of the time, it's only 1 unit every 2 weeks. So pretty insane that he just has this many kind of lying around. Pretty low on ears. Got a gripe on that one. Tons of wings, 1,800 wings for whatever reason, and then 370 horns. The SSR pendant game is through the roof. 1,300 SSR pendants, but whenever you have every character level 100, I'm assuming these just kind of go to waste. They just sit in the box. Once again, could be consolidated into UR pendants, but it's crazy just seeing them like this in the box. I assume he does probably consolidate some of these. I end up saving these up for festivals and just trading them with the King Exchange, but that's completely understandable. So decent amount of books, of course, nothing too out of the ordinary with those. Is sitting on a pretty good amount of pots, 1,800. I was almost expecting maybe more, but honestly, this is enough to, like, as soon as an LR character or anything like that comes out, I mean, he's going to have enough to completely max that character out as soon as it drops. Shouldn't have any problem with new characters or anything like that. Sitting on 3,400 anvils, which isn't anything super crazy, but at this stage in the game, I'm assuming one of the big things that he just has to do with gaining more box CC is just making gear for characters and stuff like that. The fact that he has 276 anvils just lying around is pretty crazy, and he has 414 engraving stones as well. He has consolidated a lot of these awakening stones. So honestly, I don't keep anything below 5-star. I basically just consolidate them all up and then sell the rest of them just to save inventory space. But the fact that he has so many of the 6-star ones, which can only be used when you UR gear, is pretty insane. Sitting on a decent amount of Vanya Ale, but I'm assuming he has maxed affinity with everybody. Surprisingly low on food and food mats, but you know, who cares? He's sitting on 19 of these monster cards. This is the one where you can actually pull Cluximus, which is kind of funny. Here's hoping, because I think he was telling me, I don't know if he's pulled it since, but a couple of months ago he told me that he was like one of the only people in his guild that didn't have the Cluximus card, and I would really like to pull it as well, but I guess we'll see. What are these? Okay, so he's sitting on the SR equipment boxes from the Lucky Box or Jumping Box event. 162 SSR tickets just sitting, which when we look at the coin shop later, you'll know why he hasn't used these. And obviously he has every character 6/6, so it doesn't matter. Tons of event dungeon keys. These are boxes for Gil Thunder. He has 3 extra copies of Gil Thunder, 5 extra copies of Waylo, and 5 extra copies of Helbram lying around in the inventory. Completely understandable. A couple of keys, actually kind of lower on keys than I feel like I have seen some people hoard. Like a lot of people really like hoarding keys. Tons of extra SSR tickets and stuff like that, or not SSR, but SR and rare tickets. But honestly, these are kind of useless. And when you see his coin inventory in the coin shop, you'll know why he hasn't used those. But miscellaneous, he has 14,600 UR treasure chests lying around. I'm assuming this is because people still have copium that they're going to bring back the salvage event, rate-up event. Or not salvage rate-up event, the gear gotcha rate-up event. I'll be honest, I gave up on that a long time ago. I use all of my SSR tickets because I don't think the Wish event's coming back. I use up all of my chests and stuff like that because I don't think that the gear gotcha event is coming back. Even if it does, I really don't care if I maximize profits on it. But you know, a lot of people do really want those to come back, and so they hoard a lot of gold. Which, if you don't know, you can't have more than a billion gold in your inventory at one time. So if he ever gets low, he can just come in, sell a couple of these, and be fine. He does have almost a ton of just free. Or like not free. He has a ton of like space filled up with just extra gear sets and stuff like that lying around in his inventory, which we can go to a couple of characters anyway. I think somebody specifically wanted to see how many gear sets he has on Melly. This is another thing. He has all of the Guild Wars outfits, which means that he is in the top 1 ranked guild, because you can't get the Melly one unless you're the best guild in the game. So that is also worth noting as well. But if we go to his gear, he actually has 1 set on Lostfane, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 full sets, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 partial sets of gear just lying around. A lot of these are just HP defense sets and stuff like that for box CC. Completely, you know, understandable because you're just pushing box CC at this point. But he has 6 full sets. I have 5 full sets at the moment, and I'm thinking about building a 6th one because I want to have an extra attack crit set for my Demon King melee to just have on all the time, because that's really what I plan on using on him the most. But yeah, that's pretty insane. A lot of these are max 15% gears, you can see. I think if we even go to this, you can see that these are max 15% gears as well. I don't know if every single piece is 15, but I don't have the time for all of that. You can see that a ton of them are. Okay, all of the full sets. Okay, so the defense pieces might be a little lacking, but honestly, I mean, 14% and above is still insane. God, all of the HP pieces and stuff like that are 15%. Just maximizing, you know, every bit of CC that you can get, of course, which is, you know, that is understandable. Has 75k CC on him. If I go to new melee, he has 72 on an attack crit. If we swap him to the HP defense set, he has 77.5. So I think that does make him the highest CC character in the game. I don't think any of the LRs have quite reached that limit yet, so pretty insane alone. Obviously, you can kind of look at those, you know, true awakening choices there, but he does have like a ton of costumes and stuff like that for pretty much every single one of these characters. If I go to like a random character, for example, he has all of these costumes completely maxed out. So that way he's gaining extra GP there. They're, you know, gaining a bunch of extra box CC and stuff. SR Arden, for example. He doesn't have the weapon or the headpieces maxed out, but he did, I guess, max out the costumes. He had, I guess, a bunch of extra cosmetic mats maybe lying around. But, yeah, the box is, of course, insane. I don't really know what else to say about that. Missing the Merlin card, which I also am missing the Merlin card. I have not pulled the Merlin card either. And then, is he missing Cluximus still? He is still missing Cluximus. Very unfortunate there. Somebody wanted to see his stamina pots. I don't remember if we've seen that or not in his inventory. Actually, a little low on stamina pots, but I'm assuming he's doing, or not like just filling his inventory with them, because he has 10,000 silver coins, 9,000 SR coins. He had over 1,000 SR or SSR coins as well, but I'm assuming he's been doing a lot of farming for the Demon King boss, so he's probably been spending those. 49 extra, you know, of the festival coins lying around, and some of those are light and dark coins. You can see the Bond. Anything after Merlin here is all light and dark coins, which is just crazy. It's just wild. You know, I don't think there's anything in here specifically that we need to look at. He doesn't have these just sitting around in his inventory, because I'm assuming he's just been building them as he's been getting enough mats to true awaken a character. But absolutely insane amount of coins. Like, God, there's nothing the man couldn't buy with coins if he didn't want to. So that is pretty insane. Somebody did want to see his stamp collection. I'm not 100% sure if like he has like all of the like paid stamps or anything. It does look like, I think you do have to buy the King ones. You do have to buy the Merlin ones. You do have to buy the Escanor ones, of course. So he has those as well. So the ones that he didn't buy were the Meliodas, Hawk, Deanne, and Bond sets. And then this one was a free one that they gave out through an event. I'm kind of surprised he missed this one. Maybe he just wasn't messing around too much during that, or just maybe missed it, which I assume people don't really care that much about stamps anyway, but kind of cool, kind of interesting to see that. Let me look through some of the other suggestions, and I'll see... Actually, we can look at his friends really quickly, just because somebody wanted to see him. I think the most notable thing about his friends list is just going to be the guilds and stuff like that, because like Apocalypse is like the guild he's in, so it's the top guild. Elysium is another high tier guild. I'm not super familiar with Midgard, but it sounds like it's probably pretty up there. I know Seven Kings is a popular guild. They're pretty high up as well. I've seen Nexus. I've seen Dariarism. I've seen OG. I don't know Darkness too well. OG is like one of the like original sort of guilds that were very big. I think I've seen V10 a couple of times. Night Sins I've definitely seen. I think in one of the videos we did just the other day, we actually fought Gambit, who's in the guild he's in. SSQ Legion is also a pretty high up guild. Eden's a high up guild. Kaiju's a high up guild. Some of these other ones I'm not as familiar with. I definitely see this guild from time to time. And yeah, I mean, maybe you've seen some of these players. Here's probably the biggest achievement he has on the account. Just being friends with this guy is pretty insane. He's very picky about the characters or the people that go on his friends list. You might have heard of him before. I don't know. He's trash. Anyways, that's the friends list. I don't think there's really too much reason to go through the friends list, to be honest with you, but you know, there was some of it if you were interested. Somebody wanted to see Guild Wars teams, but that is the one thing that he said that he didn't really want to show off, of course, and that's, you know, that makes sense because there's a Guild Wars season going on right now. You don't really want to show off the teams and strategies that you're using to people who could potentially you know, fight your guild and win. So obviously that makes sense. Somebody wanted to see which units have the highest CC. So if we go to sort the box and just go to combat class and descending, his highest CC unit is technically Margaret, but this is with HP defense on. So, you know, as you would basically expect, it's probably going to be all of the LR characters first. If we had the HP defense set on Melly, he would actually, I think, be on the very top. But it's basically just any of the like very, very modern characters who have obviously 6/6 and all of their costumes and stuff like that maxed out. I'm actually kind of surprised that Roxy is this high up with 70k. And I guess it just goes to show that with her having 70k, she has 70k as well. The first character that doesn't have 70k is Levi. So that means that all of these characters and above actually have 70k or higher CC, which is pretty insane. And some of these characters could reach it once they get True Awakened as well. So there's kind of like the basic gist of the highest CC characters, I guess. Somebody wanted to see his demonic beast teams, so we can head over to Creature's Nest. His bird team is, I'm assuming we need to lock in Nidhogg. I'm gonna feel bad if he doesn't want Nidhogg locked in, but I don't think he'll mind, considering he doesn't have any relics that need to be made. Somebody also, I think he was telling me to show off his relics. If we hide completed relics, which means that there's not anything in here, he has every relic, of course. I don't think that's a huge achievement, considering that they just don't release new holy relics all that often. But here is the bird team. You can actually see this is very outdated. There's not really been any real reason to fight the bird in quite a while, unless you're like a newer player, of course. The deer team, actually using Milim, I can respect that. A lot of people really like using Milim for the deer, which is kind of cool. Skull and Hati, this is very standard, I think. This once people figured out that Albedo could sort of just like solo counter the dogs, it was basically over for them, so that's pretty cool. And then, of course, his Nidhogg team is very standard. This is the same team that I use, but I wish I had at least one more copy of Mael, so that way I could put gray debuffs on, but you can see the team CC is also pretty insane, which he has everybody on HP defense at the moment, which I feel like I normally run people, like I run Mael and Freya with attack crit, but maybe, I don't know if that's just for CC purposes or like he was messing around with some of those characters or whatever, but, you know, there's what he has for those. Brawl rank and teams, I am kind of interested in that myself. I know that that might not be something a lot of people are super excited to see, but as somebody who does play Brawl, I do kind of like seeing what kind of stuff people have going for it, and I am kind of interested to see, one, if he does push for higher Brawl rankings, and 2, which teams that he does use. So I'm assuming his CC is over 11 or like 1.1. It is, so he's at 1.1. He's in the top 100 already. I don't see him too often, so I'm assuming he probably does stay in this very, very high up ranks. I typically sit around like 150-ish, and then I have to push into top 100 or try to push into top 100 each day. So the fact that he's already just chilling in here, you get pushed out of this pretty fast too, so that's pretty impressive, I think. His teams are an unknown team with Albedo and Shaltir, which is kind of cool. Demon team, a little bit outdated using Lost Vein. So he hasn't put the new Melee on here yet. I don't know if he will, because sometimes like some characters that are really good for just regular PvP aren't necessarily as good for Brawl because the bot is playing them and stuff, and you have to really tweak your AI settings and stuff. So last team is a human team. I'm assuming this is to help with ult rushing and stuff because a lot of people use Froudrin comps and stuff like that in Brawl. But his team CC is insane: 370, 371, 367. He would absolutely go first in every single match against my teams, no doubt. But I'm only at like I'm at 1,032,000 CC with my stuff, so the fact that he's at 1.1, I mean, you can see it's not too uncommon, like, around this rank, but it's still pretty crazy to see. Hawk Pass currency, out of curiosity, I am also a little curious. He has 16,000 scraps just lying around, which I'm assuming he doesn't really use. Like, I mean, I would imagine he does probably buy the Hawk Passes if I had to guess, so that way he, like, they just came out with this new one. I think it's literally been out for just today, so he doesn't have all of this stuff unlocked or anything. I don't know if it doesn't look like he even has the premium Hawk Pass bought yet, but the fact that he's sitting on so many of these, I can only assume he does buy those for the materials and everything, and because he tries to min-max gear, he's probably buying every single Hawk Pass outfit and stuff you could get, just because it's an easy UR cosmetic that you can now increase to get 1 GP. So that's pretty interesting, actually. What else do we have? What costumes he uses for his festival/collab units and their gear sets? It might be too long to go through every one of these, but if we go through some of the maybe more modern ones, so if we do heroes and then descending, some of the newer characters should be kind of down here. We can kind of just look through some of their outfits. I do like this outfit for Cocytus, actually. We'll actually pull up their gear and just kind of go through. I'm assuming everybody that he can or doesn't use a lot is going to be on HP defense just for box CC, but yeah, so I don't know if he's done Labyrinth to farm out the new costume yet, but this is a seasonal outfit that you had to buy during Halloween, so maybe this one will be a little bit more special considering you have to spend more money on it. But I do like the new collab one, or the new Labyrinth one. It does have the costume there. Okay. Looking pretty standard for the most part. Actually uses the Magical Girl outfit for Eris. Insane. Not using the Red Rose one. Cringe. Just kidding. But let's go to Ascending, because a lot of the festivals are Sin's characters. So the costume he uses on his melee, I think this might be my choice. I might have put this on when I was on his account last, because he was using this outfit instead, but for the thumbnail for that video I wanted to have the Guild Wars costume on, so I technically changed that one. But for Lost Vein, he uses Guild Wars outfit. I guess any of the Sins are probably gonna have it on, so I guess asking for festival costumes might have been sort of an already answered sort of question, you can imagine. Yeah, I think you do have to re-equip these every time that they sort of drop. I'm not 100% positive on that, but yeah, has it on Gother as well. I'm assuming you have it on Merlin as well. Yeah, so, you know, I mean, there are, of course, characters that aren't festivals and Sins at the same time, but most of them are going to be. I think she also has Guild Wars outfits, yeah. So you can kind of see where that's going. Let me see if there's anything else super interesting here. We have items in the item storage. We've already shown that. Ult levels on the characters. We've already shown that. UR gear sets. I guess, I mean, I'm not going to go through every single UR gear set. It would be a death sentence to do that. But if we go to equipment and we go through Every single one of these characters have UR gear sets on. Most of them are definitely HP defense. You do see some attack crits and stuff like that, or attack defenses in here as well. A lot of partial sets towards the bottom here because he's doing the attack pieces and the HP pieces for CC, of course. So these are characters that he doesn't use, that he's just slapping, you know, HP defense pieces on and engraving them for a bit of extra stats just for box CC, of course. I think, is it going to be? Okay, there's 3 characters. 3 characters in the box that do not have maxed out, or like at least some sort of UR gear piece on. No, okay, so there's one more right here. Roxy does not either. And this one technically isn't hers. That's a ROM piece for some reason. But you can also see that he has a ton of engraved pieces just sitting in the inventory, kind of chilling. He has a crit defense piece and a lifesteal piece for Melly, which is kind of crazy. I don't know that I've built a lifesteal piece for anyone. But yeah, you can see the amount of just random gear pieces that he doesn't even have equipped on anybody. So that's pretty nuts. How many SR, SSR, and R coins? We've already looked at that. His achievements, we've looked at those. Highest geared and ungeared CC teams he can achieve. That is a pretty interesting one. Let's go over here to the PvP section really fast. So if we do auto set, highest CC is 244. That's without food. I'll put the, and if we, well, in ungeared, you don't have to worry about gear, of course. So new melee not being on here is kind of interesting. I don't know if that's like a game thing, and you can kind of optimize some of the CC a little bit if you actually change some of these things. But the auto set puts him at 244. I'll put a CC food on after we look at this because you can't take it off. But his geared team, if I auto set that, looks like 394, which is pretty crazy. So that's pretty wild. 441 with food. But obviously these aren't like good teams. You're not going to be using these teams. And then 273. I did go up against a person with 264 or 265 or something like that the other day on my own account. So the fact that, you know, he can hit above that, which obviously, like I said, this isn't a team that you're actually going to use. You're not going second. If you do something like this, you are not going to go second in the slightest. Because 1, nobody's using that team. 2, there's 3 other players in the game that have higher box CC than him. So it doesn't even matter. Doesn't matter at all. So let me hop over to the Discord really quickly because there was some other suggestions. I'll see if there's anything that hasn't already been suggested, and then we will look at those. Okay, so it looks like everything that we've already went through with some of the YouTube suggestions basically cover the same kind of stuff. The only one that maybe I could touch on was how many gear sets does he have for a specific character. I assume Melly's going to be the highest just because there's 13 different Mellys and like 6 of them have full sets, 6 of them have partial sets. So actually, doesn't that mean that there would be 7 partial sets maybe? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 full sets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, was there a melee who didn't have? Oh, okay. It's Trader Melee. Trader Melee does not have a UR gear set on, but this is 15% gear that has just not been engraved yet, which is funny. That's kind of interesting. He did ask about maybe like Escanor as well. There's only 4 Escanors in the game, so there's not really any reason to build more than 4 sets for him, I assume. And the one actually has a partial set. So yeah, each of them has their own gear. It looks like he also has a lifesteal gear set for him, which is funny. Not sure where the other piece for that is, but is there not even another piece for it? Does he only have one piece? It's kind of interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that there's any other characters that have more copies of a unit than Melly does, so not really going to be anybody that has more gear sets than him specifically, which I guess there are quite a few Deannes, for example. Deanne has 1, 2, 3 full sets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 partial sets. So not as many full sets for her. But, you know, a lot of these DNs are pretty useless. I feel like melee, like at least a couple of these melees were either really good, like Blue Demon Melee, for example, or they're festival characters, so they kind of deserve to have a full set because they're like top tier characters and stuff like that, or at least were at some point. So that's pretty cool, honestly. So either way, actually, he did give me a list of stuff that he suggested that I look over. So I'm going to look at that really quickly just in case. Resources, relics, we've already seen that. Box CC gear sets, what everybody's looking at. So if we go to equipment right here, you can see that every single character obviously does have a set on. Most of them are going to be HP defense sets here, but he does have a couple of attack crits and stuff scattered throughout. There's an attack defense on Frisia for some reason, which is kind of funny. But yeah, lots and lots and lots of gear. And a lot of these actually have really good rolls and stuff on. There's the triple defense for Tarmiel. I'm assuming he has triple defense from Naofumi. Actually has an HP defense for Raftalia. I wonder if she has... She does not. Okay. Actually just went HP defense and did not even give her a full gear set, which is kind of funny. I wonder if it was just like not worth... Like not fun enough of a team to maybe mess with, or just went for just box CC in general. Gear sets weren't lying around in the box. We just looked at that. 15% gear. I don't know if there's a way that I can just maybe organize the gear for like high rolls. HP maybe? And then you can see that these are 15% all the way to maybe here. Yeah, this... Well, I don't know if these are completely in order or not. Yeah, they're not. But, I mean, he does have just tons and tons and tons and tons of gear. So that is way too much for me to go over. Costumes completed. This is a big one now with the new changes. He obviously has a lot of costumes completed, as you can imagine. If we go to costumes, just looking at the costume sets themselves and not even the weapons or cosmetics, you can see that there are just an absolute ton of costumes and cosmetic materials. Obviously, some of these characters do share cosmetics with other characters and everything, but I'm not going to go through the entirety of the box. Maybe we'll go to like a section where it's not characters that are maybe as useful, so like around here-ish. If we go to costumes, he has max sets on a lot of the collabs, of course. Nanashi's full. Liz is full. A lot of Liz's there. 11, Jim, Mike, Will. Here's the ReZero collab characters. All of these are full. Demon Chandler, Sigurd. We have everybody here. Yeah, I mean, absolutely insane amounts of cosmetic materials and stuff being used on this stuff. It is wild, actually, to think about like how much either like grinding was done, which he has told me that he doesn't really buy a whole lot of like the cosmetic packs and stuff like that. Like maybe it wasn't cosmetic packs, but he was saying that a lot of the stuff in the game he does actually grind. He does actually he doesn't just rely on spending money to just completely max out a lot of the stuff in this game, which is good to hear. You obviously want to play the game. So Constellation Progress, we've already seen that. Ultimate levels, we looked at that, and then yeah, that is pretty much it, I think. I don't think that there's anything else super crazy that we need to look at. Maybe Fort Solris keys. He actually is sitting on 8 time-limited dungeon keys, which is kind of surprising. I mean, I guess because you've already got every character maxed out, maybe he just would do the Anvil Coin dungeon with this, or I hate to think that he would use it on the Chaos Fragments, but maybe if he was just looking for more rerolls. But I would assume that a lot of his stuff revolves around gear nowadays, so just looking at these coins is insane. But that's pretty much it. I don't think that there's anything else that needs to be looked at. If I did miss anything, feel free to let me know. I will. I'm sure that maybe in a couple more months, whenever he finishes like Constellation of Pride or something, we might mess around with some more stuff like this. But an absolute wild amount of progress. This video has been pretty long, so if you made it all the way through it, I do applaud you for that. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully it was fun. Leave me a little apple emoji or something like that. That way I know you watched the whole thing, or at the very least you skipped to the end, which is kind of funny. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Gon's account. Number 4 on Global. Absolutely wild progress made on this account. Obviously, I mean, you can see he just sits on a ton of diamonds and stuff ready to be summoned. And, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Feel free to subscribe. I will see you guys tomorrow.